Peace, this is Star with the Star Bloom. So, I wanted to share a little bit about the mother wound and why it's so pertinent that you heal it in order for you to be able to be light in your heart space and moving forward on your soul's journey and connecting with yourself and being at a full rate of embodiment. I believe it's one of the most difficult wounds that I've basically had to heal. So many times I felt like I really didn't heal it because I recognized the levels that you get to continue to meet, the more you allow yourself to chip away, chisel away at what it is that's basically been laying sometimes doormat because it's either been unspoken or there hasn't been the appropriate form to address these things, and a lot of misconceptions that live within rates of healing is participation. We believe that if y'all be wondering what I'm looking off at, I be looking off to basically gather whatever it is I'm channeling. I'm not looking at nothing. I don't have no notes or nothing. I be holding my cards and stuff. Um, they said fidgeting. I put the cards down. But I don't know why I felt the need to say that. But a big misconception is participation, that you need help. When I first came into rates of healing, that was one of the biggest things that I had to learn how to heal because I wanted it to be, I don't know why, it's almost like a family gathering. I would learn something. I would have this discovery, whether in meditation or going through deep healing sessions, in classes and different race like forms and stuff, setups, and coming to ends of cycles, and I would want to have these rates of clarities. I perceive them to be clearing sessions so we could be able to move into a new rate of life and in existence so everybody could be heard. But one of the biggest things that we get to accept on our journey is that everybody may not necessarily be ready to heal. And even if they are ready to heal, your rate of healing may not necessarily be their rate of healing. So you get to be wherever you need to be at on your journey, a full embodiment of you and cultivating your wholeness, however it is that you need to be at that rate, however you need to do it, without the participation of anybody. A lot of people don't know this. You don't need people's help to heal. You don't need their permission to heal. You don't need a group. You don't have to have like a lot of education to do this. You don't got to pay a lot of money. I promise you it could be you and you. And a lot of minds has been that. And the reason why it's good, I believe sometimes to start there, but I'm not a medical professional, so I got to say that, okay? But I believe it's good to start there. Yeah, so seek medical professional if you need that. Is why I'm saying that. Just so we're clear, okay? 3, 2, 1. And so it is. As am I, good God. Okay. But a lot of the times it was difficult coming into rates of healing, especially when it comes to my mother wound. I pulled the Isis card last night, and the Isis card basically speaks on you addressing the mother wound. And it says Sophia on this deck. That's amazing. I believe that that's what this Cancer energy, us being in this Cancer energy, moving into Leo energy, has basically been bringing up for me with being at a rate to where I allow myself to recognize how much I really, really worked on healing my mother wounds. For me, I started with my ancestors, which was very, very peculiar because my two divine matriarchs had a wound that they didn't necessarily have the opportunity to heal while in the living, I believe, while in the flesh. And I was able to sit at a rate within them to be able to actually honor those things. And a lot of the times we believe it's going back that allows us to heal, but it's not. It's really, really going forward. You have the opportunity 441 to start to implement the things that you may have not necessarily had, or you may have not necessarily perceived were possible due to circumstances that you were conditioned in. We don't recognize that a lot of the times at racial cultivations that we are speaking and creating and doing from what's been embedded within us. And it becomes so difficult when you're dealing with people who have wounds, who aren't healing their wounds and aren't aware of how deep their wound goes and how much there's like this leaching of energy that comes off due to them not having the rates of awareness that you may come into if you desire to basically be knowledgeable in these rates. For me, I appreciate how spirit has been with me in this space, because this is why you should always take your time, because you don't know how deep things go with you. And if you get into a rate of wanting to compare where you are based off of what you perceive other people to be doing, you lose so quickly, because you take away vital essence that is there and that is present for you to fully perceive if you allow yourself to be in perception of it. But a lot of the times we convince ourselves to 606 to move away from things because it'd be easier to go the easy way out. I took the long way, y'all. Sometimes I was a turtle and shit that felt like I was supposed to be turbo driving in, because I might have been aware, may have even been pushed on an external rate to perform higher because of certain rates of what people perceive that I was aware of. And I allow myself to constantly go back and go within and just put a pause to it, keeping my ego in check even at a certain rate. A lot of us with these platforms, people feel like it's about being seen, but it really has nothing to do with that. We like to look good. That's really who we are as a person. How we dress ourselves up, that's on us. We get to be as beautiful or whatever as we want to be, but that has nothing to do with a lot of the times what we're sharing. This shit really don't have no really big meaning. It be the impact that you making on yourself, and that sometimes is in the steady steps that you taking. Healing the mother wound is a steady step, but it's necessary, especially when we recognize how the mitochondrial, how the mother's line is basically being represented and being called to action right now. It's almost like a declaration, so to speak, is being declared within the auric field, within the ethernets, and it's being amplified right now. And if you're not at a rate of acceptance within you and what's been happening and occurring around you, if you're not willing to take responsibility of the part that you've played in the circumstance, a lot of the times you forfeit your opportunity to propel forward, because at some rate you're creating a rate of hindrance because you are still in pattern of things that have always been susceptible to your line. We don't recognize that when we're dealing with things innately with the family that heals, that causes trauma, right? You be dealing with spirits that have been placed on bloodlines, and it's not no woo-woo thing. It's like, it's real life, but a lot of us don't allow ourselves to become aware of this shit, so we cast it away. We don't believe that it applies to us, and we just be like, oh, this person has this problem, this person has this problem. I'm not basically gonna go through all of that, but I will say it's important at this point for you to get to a rate to where you allow yourself to see how you're showing up different in connection, especially if you're a person who's healing a mother wound and you are a mother. Healing a mother wound and you are with child, period. You're wanting to honor your feminine, your divine feminine energy. Being at a rate to where you allow yourself to see the full story without judgment and to move forward without grudge holding, but having full and clear boundaries while honoring that space that was before, because you recognize that it's a divine threshold that you have to meet in order for you to progress moving forward, because it's a tethering that doesn't disconnect. 135. Spirit is speaking to us at a high rate, and I believe the divine mother is speaking to us right now through all race that she is. And she's, I don't know why I feel like she's broken herself off in so many pieces for us to basically be in this incarnation to show up at whatever rate that we're supposed to show up at. But there's a certain rate of respect that has to be paid to yourself and how you're basically implementing the things that you want it to be the change. I'm gonna come back, y'all.